Dude, this turned out, oh my gosh. This video is brought to you by Skillshare. More about them later in the video. So recently I've been getting into film photography, but I have a bit of a problem. You see, I don't have a great way to carry things without using a bigger backpack, and I don't have enough pockets for everything. So to solve this problem, I need a small bag that can not only carry my camera, but my other belongings like my phone, wallet, sketchbook, and extra film rolls. Let's create a solution for this. I'm doing this project in my dad's sewing shop, so I'll be using some more industrial machines, but you could totally make this bag using a home sewing machine as well. So I found this roll of fabric in my dad's shop, and I was immediately drawn to it. Apparently he bought this a while back for only $5. I was really drawn towards the geometric pattern, and I think it's fitting because I try and incorporate patterns into most of my projects. So I designed this pattern in Adobe Illustrator, and it did take quite a lot of trial and error for me to go from the digital drawings to something that actually works with real materials. But the pattern I ended up with is super versatile, and it's a great basic design for a bag that you can modify to fit your own needs. If you want to make this bag, there's a link in the description to where you can buy the digital pattern. After I cut out the pieces from the geometric fabric, I also cut out some front, back, and bottom pieces from some medium weight Cordura fabric, and this will also be the exterior of the bag. I chose some of this white ripstop fabric for the lining because I knew it would be easier to see inside the bag with a lighter fabric. So here are all the pieces that I'll need for the bag. If you're making one of these bags using the pattern, feel free to pause the video here so you can see all the pieces you'll need. Now that I had all the fabric cut out for this bag, I needed to make the foam inserts to make this more of a camera bag. This is also a completely optional feature, but I did include the templates for the foam inserts in the digital pattern if you want to add this to your bag as well. I'm just using some of this 1/2-inch closed cell packing foam which came in a box that I ordered online. So for these foam inserts, I cut out 2 of these panels for the front and back, as well as this one rectangular piece for the bottom panel. The first thing I had to do was sew in a zipper for the front pocket. I lined up the zipper with the front panels and marked where it ended, then I measured 1.5 inches in and cut the zipper right there. These right here are 2 little pieces of brown Cordura that are the same width as the zipper. I placed them topside down on the end of the zipper and sewed them together. Then I folded back the fabric and top stitched it so it would lay flat. Next, it was time to sew the zipper to the fabric pieces that make up the front of this bag. I placed the zipper topside down on the geometric fabric and then I sewed them together. After that, I was able to fold it down and add a row of top stitching. I then repeated this process with the brown Cordura fabric on the top. And now we had a fully functioning zipper with 2 sliders so it could be opened from either end. The next thing I have to do is sew on this lining fabric, which is going to be the inside of this pocket here. When I was sewing on the lining fabric, I made sure to sew pretty close to the edge so that it would be easier to conceal later when I'm binding it. I'd actually cut out an identical front liner piece, which I sewed a piece of white Velcro to. This will allow me to attach a camera bag divider to create multiple compartments. So now that we've installed the pocket liner, the next thing that I have to do is sew on the actual liner of the bag, which has the Velcro strip down the middle. And I'm only going to sew around 3 of the sides so that I can slip in the foam insert. And then I'll finish off the stitching afterwards to fully enclose it. Adding a lining fabric is completely optional, and I'll show you guys a couple variations of the bag later in the video that don't have a liner. So now that we're done making the front piece, it's pretty much the same process for making the back piece, so that's what we're gonna do. I started off making the back panel by binding the top edge of this piece of Cordura. And this is going to become the sketchbook pocket, so I wanted the edge of the fabric to look really finished and durable. This is the binding process that I was talking about before, and I'll add a link in the description to a binding attachment that you can add to your home sewing machine to achieve a similar result. I sewed this piece to the full Cordura back panel, making sure to sew close to the edge, and now you can kind of see how the sketchbook pocket is going to work. I had to then add the lining, which is identical to the one I sewed on the front panel. So I can set aside the back piece now, and I need to move on to working on the bottom, and that just entails sewing this lining to the outer fabric and then inserting the foam piece. Now that I had the front, back, and bottom panels all done, I needed to make the top piece, which wraps around both sides of the bag. I'm using this white zipper for the main opening, which is the same as the front pocket zipper except a little bit longer. I basically just repeated the process of adding the little Cordura end pieces to the zipper, but this time I added binding to the inside seam. I used a hot knife to cut off the excess so that it wouldn't fray, but you could just cut it with scissors and use a lighter. Now this is where the version I made here is slightly different from the final pattern that you guys have access to. As you can see here, I decided to make the zipper opening curved so that it would be easier to access things inside of the bag. Little did I know that adding curves creates a lot of weird stretching when it comes time to sew things together, and you'll see how this really messed things up in just a minute. Luckily, you guys won't have to contend with this issue because I simplified the pattern so that the opening is just a straight line, which makes everything a lot easier. After sewing on the zipper, I sewed on the matching lining piece. I stitched the lining so that it would lay flat when I top stitched the exterior fabric. Sewing on this opposite side was even trickier because it was a concave curve. Next, I laid down the last piece of lining fabric, and I had to add a line of stitching right here, which also proved to be fairly difficult. You can see right here how all the layers of the fabric fold together, and this is where the top stitching would go. So this is where I realized that something had gone wrong, because one side was at least half an inch longer than it was supposed to be, and I think this was caused by the fabric stretching when I sewed the curves. I ended up just cutting off the excess with a rotary cutter, and it all worked out in the end, but if you make this bag, this whole construction of the top piece will be much easier. After sewing around all 4 edges of the top panel, I pretty much had all the pieces ready to sew together. But before we put everything together and see how it looks, I want to take a moment to thank the sponsor of this video, Skillshare. If you haven't heard of them, Skillshare is an online learning community for creative and curious people. If you want to learn a new skill, whether it be sewing, woodworking, graphic design, or photography, Skillshare has thousands of inspiring classes that will help you get started in whatever subject you're interested in. Back in 2018, when I first got my camera, I took a Skillshare class called DSLR Filmmaking from Beginner to Pro by Jordy Vandeput, and that class pretty much taught me everything I needed to know about how to make high quality videos with my camera, from composition to lighting to basic camera settings. What I loved about this class was that Jordy was able to present some pretty complicated information in a really easy to understand way, which really helped 14-year-old me get a grasp on videography. And with all of that knowledge, I've slowly been able to make better and better videos to share with you guys. If you're interested in learning some new creative skills and becoming a more well-rounded maker, the first 1,000 people to click the link in the description will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. Thank you again to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back to the build. So before I start sewing all these pieces together, I wanted to make a handle for the bag. I thought it would be interesting to experiment with using some shrink tube to create a rubber handle, and this actually ended up working great. Next, I added 3 loops of ribbon to the bottom of both of the front and back panels, and this will allow me to add some bungee cord material so I can strap things to the bottom of the bag. I wanted to have the shoulder strap of this bag be easily removable, so I made these 2 little loops out of ribbon. There's a link in the description to the ribbon I used, as well as most of the other materials needed for this project. After melting the ends together and sewing them on, I was done adding the details. Here's a quick rundown of all the pieces we made before we put them all together. The time had finally come to sew all the big pieces together and make it look like a real bag. I placed the bottom panel face down on the top panel and sewed them together. After sewing both sides, I pretty much just had this continuous loop of fabric. Next, I used the binder attachment to finish both the seams. And this is the reason why I've been sewing pretty close to the edge of the fabric, so that when the binding is added, none of the previous stitching is visible. Now comes the tricky part, which is sewing on the front and back panels. I ended up using a lot of binder clips to help keep things lined up, but it really just came down to taking it slow and being patient. I want to show you an example of what you should do when you're making this bag. I would recommend cutting little darts on each of the corners to make binding the edges easier so the fabric doesn't bunch up. That was obviously a different bag because I didn't think to do it on the original bag. I then bound all the raw edges on the inside, but we're definitely not done yet because I still need to make the shoulder strap. I'm not going through this process in full detail because the strap is pretty much the same as the one I made for my Adam Savage EDC bag, so if you want a more detailed explanation, there's a link in the description to that video. I decided to use these pretty slick looking clasps, which are left over from the Savage Industries bag I made. I'm also using this matte black tri-glide buckle, which will let me adjust the length of the strap. The last thing I did to finish off the strap was fold over the end of the 1-inch webbing and add a bar tack for strength. The strap was done now, so I could turn my attention back to the bag itself. So I'm super excited because the time has finally come to turn this bag right side out, and this is going to be my first time actually seeing what the bag is going to look like. Dude, this turned out way better than I thought. I was pretty stoked on how it turned out, but I still had some last minute details to work on, like adding the zipper pulls. I cut and burned the ends of the zipper pulls, and with that, this build was complete. you might remember me saying that this bag design is pretty versatile, and so here's another example of a different direction you could go with it. This fanny pack style bag uses the same basic pattern I designed with the addition of a hip belt. This is the example of the bag without a liner, which is much simpler and could be used for organizing tools, art supplies, or as a toiletry bag for traveling. If you end up making a bag using this pattern, definitely tag me on Instagram because I'd love to see it. If you enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate it if you hit that like button, and if you want to see my next video, make sure you're subscribed. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.